The man before him had barely lifted the fighter jet off the ground when the control tower behind him cut the power and extinguished the lights. This meant he would be unable to establish any contact with the ground or seek assistance during the upcoming flight. The man looked up at the starry sky. Under the moonlight, everything appeared crystal clear. The fighter accelerated again, swiftly approaching the coastline before plunging into the pitch-black sea above. The distance from land grew ever greater. After a period of safe, steady flight, the cockpit lights suddenly began to flicker. Before he could investigate, the compass before him lost its bearing. The man instinctively tapped it lightly, attempting to reset it. Not only did this fail to repair it, but it also caused the adjacent altimeter to malfunction. Seeing this, he dared not resort to aggressive troubleshooting. Instead, he dutifully pulled out the emergency flight manual and shut down the missile tracking radar. Yet the problem remained unresolved. With no other options, he radioed ground personnel for assistance. The only response was the oscillating needle. He seemed to have forgotten that the control tower had ceased operations the moment the fighter took off. The man didn't panic, assuming he'd entered the control zone of the airport he intended to land at. He switched frequencies and continued calling for help. Glancing at the time on his wrist, he suddenly realized something was terribly wrong. With the fuel remaining, he should have already landed at the airport. The realization jolted him awake. Frantically, he tried every possible method to escape his predicament. The fighter veered off course, and the radio remained silent. This meant he had not only lost his bearings, but also flown beyond the tower's control zone. At this realization, fear flashed across the man's face. The pitch-black, calm sea offered no landmarks for orientation, and the navigation charts in his hands had become useless scraps of paper. The situation grew increasingly dire, and now impenetrable fog had rolled in ahead, blocking any escape route. Rather than flying blindly into the unknown, he resolved to take matters into his own hands. With that thought, he immediately banked the aircraft and began flying in a triangular pattern, circling a fixed area in a zigzag formation. He hoped this unusual flight path would catch someone's attention on radar. Yet even as fuel neared depletion, no radio contact or fighter escort materialized. Discouraged, the man pulled out his wife's photo, thinking of the woman who waited by the door no matter how late, always ready to share dinner together. As time ticked away, the fighter entered its final flight countdown. A forced landing on the sea surface was imminent in 5 minutes. It was then that something bizarre occurred. The sky's glow illuminated his face, radiant against the backdrop of the full moon. As the aurora faded, the pilot suddenly spotted a glimmer of hope. A faint outline of another aircraft appeared below and to the right of his fighter. Soon, a call came over the radio, but it seemed the other party couldn't receive his transmission. After various attempts, the man made a bold decision to lower the aircraft's altitude. If this was a hallucination caused by his own nerves, then with fuel running low, climbing back to the original altitude would be impossible. This was nothing short of a desperate gamble. The pilot slowly maneuvered closer, scrutinizing the object. Strangely enough, it turned out to be a mosquito bomber from World War II.